Give it up for Heather Wilde.
Hey everybody. So some of you may know me. This is my second CodeMash. I'm really happy to be here again. And for those of you that don't, I am known as the Unicorn Whisperer. I got that title because I've worked with a couple of unicorn companies in Silicon Valley, and I also am a coach to help people to become unicorn companies, $1 billion valuations and much more than that. And some people may not know, I am a digital nomad. For 15 years or so, I have been working around the world. I haven't had really my own base of operation. I lived on a sailboat in Mexico. I lived in Disney World in an RV. I've lived in hotels. Like the last year, pretty much my home has been on an airplane. I mean, just check my Twitter feed and you'll see that that's pretty much true. So being a digital nomad is somebody that means you're location independent. You do not really have a home because your home is the world. In order to start doing that, the first thing you need to do is learn how to cut ties. Like, whatever that means for you, you have to, like, in your mind, mentally start cutting yourself away from your life around you. Whatever, like, if your life is a house, a car payment, an office, and that's all that you can think of, then you have to start systematically cutting that away. Start thinking about what the minimum things that you can have in your life, and you really have to become a minimalist because you need to live out of a suitcase. And you're gonna have to say goodbye to a lot of people that you know because you're gonna be probably halfway around the world for most of the time. I mean, last year in my apartment in Las Vegas, which is actually where I live, I was home about 20 days. 20 days in a year. As a digital nomad, that's not unusual. Technically, I could be classified as an expat for a lot of these 15 years because I was out of the country so much. And when you think about digital nomads, you probably think about this. You know, you're like, oh, you're in these amazing places. When it's really a lot more like this. Because if you want to live cheaply, if you want to take these types of jobs that you can be in amazing places around the world, most of the world actually does look like this. It's not beautiful, gorgeous resorts. Plus, your dollars aren't going to last very long if you do that. You can actually live for about $50 or less a day if you are traveling the world. I mean, think about how much you're spending on a mortgage right now. Think about how much you're spending on a car payment and food and all of these things. Now, if you don't have to pay those, and you're applying it instead with the salary that you're making, then you can actually live somewhere around the world pretty easily. But if you decide to do this, the first thing you gotta do is be prepared for uncertainty. And that's financial uncertainty, emotional uncertainty, every kind of uncertainty that you can think of, because, I mean, when you first start doing this, it's gonna be crazy. And again, you do not need to be rich to travel. You do need to have some money in savings because for visas, you're gonna have to prove that you have money in order to get into certain countries. They're gonna have to be like, oh, they're not gonna try and be a bartender and kick our people out of this country, you know, that kind of thing. But you do not need to be rich. You just need to have a certain amount of money, usually around like $5,000 to $10,000 in the bank, and that's it. A lot of it can be done by bartering. Like, for example, with a lot of my clients that I work for, I can get them to pay for my flights to come over there and my hotels. And then they're paying my salary while I'm there. But I don't have to pay for a flight to Dubai. I don't have to pay for a hotel. That's part of my contract for me to go to these amazing places. And then I can go to India for like a $90 flight from there. Super cheap. But again, redefine the idea of office. It's not going into an office space. It's not going every day, 9 to 5, and sitting in the same office. You don't get to have all of your toys on your desk and going there every day. Like, most of the time you're working with noise-canceling headphones on because you're in an airport lounge somewhere in Egypt with terrible Wi-Fi. Or you're in an airplane and you're getting your seat kicked by the kid behind you, and the person in front of you is reclining, and no matter what you do, they just keep reclining at the wrong time. But you still have to learn how to work. You do not need guidebooks. Has anyone heard of Wikipedia? Yes. No matter where you go, there is a Wikipedia for travel. Every town has something like that. So you do not need a guidebook where you're going. Public transport is super cheap and everywhere. And if you just absolutely cannot get on public transportation, you can use Uber. Because Uber or Careem or something like it exists in every place you go. Eat like a local, your money will go further. I mean, if you're going to eat in a local place here, why would you not eat in a local place in China? Make friends with locals, and you'll find the places that are safe to eat. Now, I mentioned China. Nobody in China really eats bats on a stick, but they will try and get you to do that because they think it's cute when the locals do. So the locals will try and play tricks on you sometimes. And there are free entertainment things to do everywhere you go. So those guidebooks that are online, like on Yelp and things like that, are super helpful to find that. So again, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You do not need to be a tourist when you go traveling. Co-work wherever possible. There's things like CoPass that actually get you access to co-working spaces around the world for like $50 a month. Regis, which comes free with an American Express card, gets you into places. But pack properly. You do not need to have zip-off pants. You do not need to carry an umbrella when you're going places. You certainly don't need a mosquito net. So when you are traveling the world, just think like a person that is a local. And everywhere you stay, just stay cheaply. So your new home can be anywhere. Live in an airport, but just make sure that you're resting, give back, and go. As we just heard, life is short. Live now and go out. Thank you very much.